Today is the 30th of May. Oh boy, this is the last Friday of the month.
Yes, it is.
And the only Friday this week.
Well, yeah, I would say so, Mr. Alley.
Thank you very,
that was
very
some
much.
smart
there.
thinking.
Thank you, Ms. Best. I've been reading the calendar
Yes,
again.
you have.
Today is the 30th of May. This is Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday and all that. Well, let's see what we have here now. Who's on today's program there, Kim?
Today we have Red Cross. I believe you spoke with someone recently.
I went by the Red Cross office and talked to Tammy Forrester about tomorrow's big event.
That's right.
The big community day at the Red Cross Community Day, and the second event, they got two. The second event is the Ride for the Red. That's all getting underway tomorrow. We're going to talk about that.
That's a big event for them.
It is. It is. Big fundraiser.
Last Friday of the month.
It is.
Getting ready to head into June. Summertime has come.
And we're also going to have a
some lawn care information.
Some lawn care information as well, where we talked with, actually we just videotaped Jessica Strickland, and she's got some lawn care tips for you there.
And this is the time of year to be listening and taking heed to what she has to say.
Boy, she has some great
Doesn't
information.
she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched several of them, listening to what she's saying, what kind of grass works best in this part of the county and why, and how you take care of it. Yeah, I've been paying attention.
She has been.
How about that?
How about that? Way to go!
I know.
All right. Well, today, May 30th, this day in 1896, the first documented auto accident occurred this day. 1896, it was the first documented
Interesting.
automobile accident. It happened, of course, in New York City.
Of course it did.
When a Duryea motor wagon, driven by a fellow by the name of Henry Wells of Springfield, Massachusetts. Well, see, he didn't know the streets.
He didn't.
He was from
Springfield.
Wasn't.
He's not a New Yorker.
He's not a New Yorker.
He didn't know.
No, he didn't
Bless
know.
his heart.
Collided with a bicycle ridden by Evelyn Thomas. Now, she lived in New York City. Anyway, a fellow by the name of Ray Haroon, driving in the Indy 500. This was the first Indy 500, happened on this day in 1911. And there was a lot of innovation at that time. Now, automobiles were already well known. I mean, people were getting used to them and everything.
Right.
So in 1911, he set the first, well, he was the first race. He won the first race at a blazing average of nearly 75 miles an hour.
Well, you know, and that's fast. But when you think about how fast they go today,
yeah,
that's nothing.
That's nothing.
They're crawling.
Well, but the cars of today are much safer than
Yes.
the cars of then. I mean, I'm not even sure I'd want to be in that automobile at 75 miles an
Yeah.
hour. It was the first time an automobile had used a rear view mirror.
That's
He
scary.
put it in there, put it up, set it up right there, and yeah, well, they didn't use them up until then, but
yeah.
75 miles an hour, and he won a lot of money for his efforts, $14,000. Of course, nowadays they win a lot more than that, but for that time, at that time,
That was big money.
and it took him 6 hours and 42 minutes to race 500 miles.
How long are those races now? Do you
Well,
know?
they're 500 miles, but they last less than a couple of hours. I
Right.
mean, just nothing. I mean,
Well, the cars are different.
they're zooming along.
And they're
at
going a lot faster.
200 plus miles
That's
an hour.
exactly right.
Birthdays today include one of my favorite cowboy stars. That's
Who's
Clint
that?
Walker. Clint Walker, Cheyenne. He also starred in The Dirty Dozen, None of the Brave, Cheyenne, Yellowstone Kelly, and a whole bunch of other westerns. And he was also in the movie The Ten Commandments. He is having a birthday today. He was born 1927, which make him, let's see, that would be 63, 73, 77? Something like that. About 77.
Well, happy birthday.
No. Yes. Yeah, 87. Something like that. 87. Excuse me.
10 years off, it don't matter.
Yeah, he's 87. It doesn't matter. He's happy about it. Anyway, Keir DeLay having a birthday. The actress, 78. Birthday for Michael J. Pollard. A lot of people remember him from Bonnie and Clyde and a bunch of other stuff. Kind of a goofy kind of a guy. That's the character he played. But he's 75 today. Can you believe that? Stephen Tobolowsky, the actor, he was in Groundhog Day. He was in Sneakers, Basic Instinct, Thelma and Louise, and The Grifters. He is 63 today. A birthday today for Winona Judd. Miss Winona Judd having a birthday. Born Christina Claire Simonella. Grammy winner, born this day 60 years ago today. Yeah.
They all have different names.
They all have different names.
That's right.
Ashley's sister, of course.
That's exactly right. Of course it is.
That's right. And what's her name's daughter?
Naomi.
Yeah.
Naomi Judd.
Naomi Judd.
That's right.
Winona.
Naomi and Ashley.
That's it.
There you go. That's the
The
family.
Judds. There you go.
I believe it's time to go to our interview, so stay with us.
Today we're talking with Tammy Forrester. Tammy's the director of the Red Cross office here in Goldsboro and Wayne County, also for some other counties, but we're only concerned about us right now, okay? Okay. How you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. I know how busy you are right now. Things are just going bananas. Speaking of bananas, how was breakfast?
Breakfast was good.
Okay, but I wanted to ask you about we got a big weekend coming up, and I'm serious about this. But we've known Tammy for many years, and she's a good friend, and she works really hard for the Red Cross. But I want to talk seriously about things that are happening this weekend. Got a big weekend coming up. You got Community Day and the Ride for the Red event.
Yes.
These are two big events that will benefit the Red Cross here in Wayne County. So tell me about Community Day. What's going on there?
Well, Community Day is a three-tier event. It's a way for the Red Cross to give back to the community. And we're doing that because we're having a bunch of vendors out there, food vendors, craft vendors, nonprofit vendors, just out there to share what they do and what they cook and what they make. And it's free for the public to come out. There's no charge to get in. The food is going to be sampled by the agencies that are out there, so that food is free. I know.
Wow.
And there's going to be events out there. We're going to have some inflatables for the kids. Rock wall.
So, you're going to be able to climb the wall?
Yes.
All right.
I'm not climbing the wall because if I get further off the ground than I am tall, I get dizzy. So I'm not climbing the wall. But that's going to be out there. And there's also going to be the Ride for the Red. That's the part where we raise money. And we raise that money so that we can help the fire victims in this county. Because, you know, we have about one a week that have a fire and lose everything they have in it.
I would have to say most people are not aware of that.
No.
One fire a week displaces a family.
That's right. Until Mother Nature brings along a tornado or a hurricane or a flood, single-family fires are our largest day-to-day expenditure.
And I'll tell you something, if you want to see a bad situation, you drive by at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning where the fire department is there helping to trying to put out this fire, control this fire. The Red Cross is always on the scene at this house fire, and standing across the street on the sidewalk or out in the middle of the road is a family, usually with children.
Yeah.
And the children are looking up at their parents saying, what are we going to do? Where do we go? We don't have a home anymore.
What's next?
What's next?
And Red Cross is next.
That's right.
We help you with that. We provide shelter, clothing, food, and it's immediate relief. We don't do it for months on end, but it's the immediate relief, the emergency relief that we help with.
Well, it doesn't help a lot. It's nice to have something to fall back on, but you know, they don't want to hear, we'll have this for you next week.
Right.
They don't want to hear at the middle of the night that next week or next month they'll have a place to live.
That's right.
They don't have anywhere to go right now. And that's where you guys come in.
That's where
the Red Cross comes in.
And we help them get, you know, like I said, we put them in a hotel. We provide them with a CAC card, Client Assistance Card.
Whoa.
And that gives them the ability to buy food immediately.
Yeah.
And we also help them, that also gives them the opportunity to purchase clothing if they need it. Some of these people leave their house in a hurry, and depending upon what you go to bed in is what you get out of bed in a hurry.
That's right. So always wear something to bed. But seriously, you're right about that. A lot of times when a smoke alarm goes off, and I do hope you have smoke alarms.
Yes, please.
But when that smoke alarm goes off, people are up and out of bed. They run out of the house just ahead of the flames.
Right.
They don't have time to grab clothes. And I hear people say, well, my house catches fire. I'll grab the TV, I'll grab my computer, I'll grab my collection of baseball cards, just something like that.
Right.
But
you don't always have
have time. You just don't have the luxury of time.
That's right. We've had people come in here that escaped through windows. That we've had people shove their loved ones out windows against their will because they were scared to jump and they knew that was the only way they were going to get them out alive. So you just don't stop to think about it. So the need is constant.
Now this is what the Red Cross does. They help people, they save lives. And you can help the Red Cross help people and save lives by being a donor. Either make a donation or attend this this Community Days, Red Cross Community Days coming up this Saturday.
May 31st.
May 31st,
Saturday,
this
yeah.
Saturday. What time does it start?
It starts, the community day itself starts at 1. The Ride for the Red, that's tied in with it. Those bikers, motorcyclists.
Thank you very much.
Motorcyclists will show up at 11:30 and they will begin registration. And then they will have kickstands up, which means they're leaving Wayne Community College right at 1 o'clock, and they'll take a 75-mile scenic tour through lovely Wayne County.
And I'll tell you something.
Be back up at Wayne Community College.
That is well, for lack of a better word, that's a hoot. Because
Yes.
when you're riding with a bunch of motorcyclists out through the countryside, through the shade and in the sun and up and down the hills and around the curves, that is just an absolute blast. Now, you don't have to belong to any particular organization to ride.
No.
It's anybody with a motorcycle.
Yep.
Any two-wheeler at all, a motorized two-wheeler can attend and join in.
Right.
And what's the cost to ride?
It's $20 for the rider, well, the driver as I call it. Y'all bear with me, you know I don't do a motorcycle. And then it's $10 for the person on the back of the bike.
Okay.
So you don't have to be in a group, just like you said. You can have your own motorcycle and show up and register and ride.
Now, where is this entire event going to be held?
It's going to be held at Wayne Community College.
All right, at the college on Wayne Memorial Drive,
Yes.
this Saturday beginning at,
Registration starts at 11:30.
for the ride.
Yes.
All right, now the big event,
The community day will run starting at 1 o'clock and will run through 6 o'clock.
and I tell you, I'm all over the place today, but I want to go back to the ride and give
Okay.
credit to Glenn Barnes for coming up with this
Yes.
great idea a few years ago. In fact, they've had this for several years in a row now, and it's very successful.
Yes, very successful.
Very successful. So it's $20 for a rider, and if that rider has somebody riding behind them, that's an additional $10.
And that includes that. For that, they get a T-shirt. They also get their lunch provided that day, and then they get to come back and share in the festivities. This is a good family, wholesome event.
Yes, it is.
And it's free, and we know that kids are in school half a day that day, but they've still got the rest of the day to come out and spend it with us
So how late in the day is this supposed to go?
till 6 o'clock.
Really?
6 o'clock.
So grab the kids when they get out of school, come on over to Wayne Community College and enjoy the Community Days, the Red Cross Community Days event that'll be going on.
Yeah.
Right now, the food they get to eat for free.
Yeah. For instance, one of the vendors that we're going to have out there is Jimmy John's.
Oh,
And they're gonna have
Oh.
a display set up out there, and they're gonna be giving you portions of a sub for samples. So they're gonna sample their menu out that day.
wow! Oh, that's
Then
great.
there's other vendors out there as well. I mean, I can't think of all the
That's
names
okay.
of them.
That's okay.
But you've got your different crafts and different food vendors that are coming out there. Chick-fil-A wasn't able to be there because they had a prior engagement.
Yeah.
But they've given us cards to give out that will get you a free item off of their menu
You know what?
for the next 3 months.
I love Chick-fil-A.
I do too.
I love Chick-fil-A.
And they are good to Red Cross. They're
Yes.
very good community partners.
Yes,
with
they
Red
are.
Cross.
Yes, they are. It's a great organization, great company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. This Saturday, Wayne Community College,
Yes.
and Ride for the Red.
That's right.
Community Days, Red Cross Community Days, and Ride for the Red, all the same day, all at the same time until 6 p.m.
Yes.
Have a great time. And Tammy, thank you so
Yes.
much for talking
Thank
with
you.
us. I appreciate it. Some great information, and please support the Red Cross. It's not up to the Red Cross where they go or what they do. When disaster strikes, you'll find the Red Cross there. You'll find them there. If it's a fire, tornado, hurricane, mudslide, you're all over the country. People from Wayne County are all over the country.
That's exactly right.
Earthquakes, California earthquakes, tornadoes in Oklahoma, just mudslides in California, just all over the place.
That's right.
All right.
You show up where the need is.
Where the need is. Of course, now you can't go on your own. You have to come to the Red Cross and volunteer for that sort of thing.
That's right. We need volunteers.
Need volunteers.
Please call and sign up.
That's right. 735-7201, 735-7201, 600 North George Street is where you find Tammy Forrester, Director of the Red Cross here locally. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Proper lawn care maintenance can be very rewarding. Here is a Wayne County lawn care moment. Once it germinates, think back to that watering schedule. Just to get it to germinate was 2 to 3 times a day, a half an inch, try to reach the half inch of soil. And after it germinates, once you see green stuff popping up, hopefully it's grass and not weeds popping up at that time, but once you see the grass popping up, for the first several weeks, about 3 or 4 weeks, keep the top 2 inches of soil moist. That's pretty tough, especially if it's dry. That's why I say if you can do it now and not do it in July when it is dry possibly, you don't have to water as much. I would even recommend getting a rain gauge to put out there, and that way you can kind of judge, because sometimes you kind of forget, it's like, well, it did rain, but I don't remember how much. Or you check the weather and it says 1 inch, but in your spot it might have been 1.5 inches of rain. So put a rain gauge out there. That'll help judge how much water you're getting. And again, kind of dig in the soil a little bit and see how wet it is getting, because now you're looking at getting more of that soil, that surface wet, so the roots will grow down. After the 3rd mowing, start cutting back on your watering. You're not watering as often, but now you're looking at keeping it watered deeper, because your roots are going deeper and your roots are going to follow water. So if you always just water the very surface, your roots are not going to grow deep. You're trying to encourage, even though that's a lot of water, you're trying to encourage those roots to grow deep. That's going to make a stronger grass, a stronger lawn, and then in the long run you wouldn't have to water as often, or it can survive droughts better or other problems. For most grasses, the first mowing, people ask, when can I start mowing it? Wait till it gets about 1.5 inches tall before you mow it, at least. To fertilize it, wait 6 to 8 weeks after germination, so about 1.5 to 2 months, and then 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Half of that for centipede, I'll explain that in a minute, but that recommendation's actually changed, so you could do 1 pound of nitrogen for centipede also now. As far as herbicides, a lot of people say, well, now I've got some weeds coming up with the grass. When can I start using a herbicide to control those weeds? Wait until you've at least mowed 3 times, because that grass is still young and you don't want to damage it by putting out a herbicide when it's still too young to handle that. Okay, we talked about sod, plugs, sprigs. Here's some pictures of what that is. Sod, most people are familiar with. Comes in the rolls. You can buy a pallet of it or several pallets depending on the size. Plugs are just big chunks of the sod. Really, it's just taking a chunk of the sod, and what you're doing is putting those plugs, spacing them out, and then it fills in the empty areas. Sprigs are like cuttings. It's like they took cuttings of those stems that have been running, and you can actually take cuttings yourself. I've heard of people doing that, say, well, I had this little empty spot, it just seemed not to get established, so I took some of those stem cuttings and I put some of the cuttings in that little spot just to get it to root and to fill in that empty spot. Sometimes if it's a small spot, you can make your own sprigs and do that yourself.
Stick them in the ground?
Yeah, just stick them in the ground so they can take root and just keep them watered and so forth. Yeah. The plugs, I might have the spacing in a minute. Let me see here. I'll get to the plugs in just a second. For sod, don't leave the sod rolled or stacked for more than 48 hours. Plan it so that when you receive that sod, you're going to put it out pretty quick, within just a day or so. This is the most expensive way to do it. Of course, seeding is the cheapest way to go, but you get the instant lawn. Your lawn's there immediately. You don't have to wait for it. When you do lay it, you lay it like a brick pattern. So you can see here, you don't want all the seams or the edges running together, because then you're going to have a gap in there. And you have that gap in there, that allows for weeds and so forth to come through. So you want to stagger those pieces. And do cut it with a sharp knife or blade. You're cutting into the plant, you want to make clean cuts, so that way it reduces the chance of disease or other problems. And you do want to roll over it. You want to roll over it to get good contact, because the trick with sod, you get the instant lawn, but sometimes people just roll it out and it's done. Remember, it's still, you've gotten that from somewhere else. Those roots still have to grow into your soil. So you want to roll over it to get good contact with the soil to encourage those roots to grow down. And you can't just walk off and leave it. Soil preparation is very important. Sometimes people have the conception of, well, it's green already, it's already growing. I can just roll it out on my lawn, my soil, and I don't have to worry about my soil. You still have to worry about your soil. Good preparation, soil preparation is very important even with sod. And do remember to still water it, because it still needs a lot of water, because you're still having that challenge of getting roots to grow into your soil. Keep it moist for the first few weeks until your new roots grow into existing soil. You can even pull on it a little, tug on it a little, and see if you've got some resistance to see is it growing into your soil. After the first month, irrigate it 1 to 2 weeks and keep the top 6 to 8 inches of soil moist. And when we're watering, I kind of touched on this some with seeding. When you're watering, keep in mind that it's not as much, once it's getting established, of course with seeding, you're trying to keep enough moisture to get it to germinate. But with watering, trying to keep that soil moist, what we recommend with plants is not just to water every day for a few seconds or a few minutes. Instead, water less often, but water longer so it goes deeper, because any plant roots will follow the water. So don't water as frequently, maybe not water every day, but if you water twice a week and water for a longer period of time, the water is going to get deeper in the soil and encourage good root establishment. Plugs, you asked about plugs. Usually you space the plugs 6 to 12 inches apart, anywhere within that range. This is used a lot for zoysia, centipede, St. Augustine. This is what it looks like. You can see you got little tufts of grass, and then it'll start to fill in those areas. If fertilizer is not part of your soil prep, then you would apply it at planting with plugs. Sprigs, this is just some part of the plant that's above ground, just some cuttings. And you can, like I said, you can do this by hand for small areas with Bermuda and zoysia. Centipede, you can. Centipede's just slower to get started. Just keep in mind, centipede's slow to establish. But Bermuda and zoysia is pretty quick to fill in. You can fill in small empty spots in your lawn by taking stem cuttings yourself. You can pick up your copy of Carolina Lawn Publication from the Wayne County Cooperative Extension Office. The office number is 919-731-1520. I am Jessica Strickland, Horticulture Agent with the Wayne County Cooperative Extension Office. Thank you for watching.
And we're back. All right.
Yes, we are.
So you got to be there tomorrow at the Red Cross office. It's going to be a tremendous amount of fun. You don't pay for anything. The food is free. The information is free. And it's very important you support the Red Cross.
That's right. Always a great cause.
There you go.
They do a tremendous amount in not only our community, but in other communities as well.
That is exactly right.
Want to remind you, Monday night, if you're interested, to come to the City Council meeting. We will be holding that at 7 o'clock p.m. in City Council chambers. At 5 o'clock p.m., we will also have our work session, so join us there in City Hall Annex. We'd love to have you come and be a part. City Council meeting this Monday night.
And there you go. Don't forget also, let's see, today's Friday. Next Thursday will be the meeting of the Wayne County Coin Club. They meet the first Thursday of each month. And we'll tell you more information, give you more information about that a little later on. But next Thursday, if you're interested in coins or history or any kind of currency, anything like that, it's a great organization to be a part of, and it's very inexpensive to become a part of the Wayne County Coin Club.
Not tomorrow, but next Saturday, if you have a young child and would be interested in going to the Born Learning Young Children's Festival, it is an event that is just for children birth to age 5. It's a free event. There'll be storytelling going on at the library, free train rides. It's from 10 until 2 p.m. Herman Park.
Oh boy.
Children's activities will be all over the park. A lot of community agencies, usually they have over 30 or 35 agencies participating. Live entertainment, free refreshments, raffle prizes, the list goes on and on. If you're interested, give them a call at Smart Start or the Partnership for Children of Wayne County, 735-3371. Next Saturday, 10 to 2, Herman Park.
What was that number again?
735-3371.
Okay.
And I suggest you hit 0.
Extension 0. Okay.
Yes.
Outstanding. Friends of the Senior Center. The Friends of the Senior Center is an organization, a group dedicated, formed a non-profit organization, and they manage the gift shop there at the Senior Center. So as you're cleaning out for the spring, and you have things, instead of throwing them away or doing whatever you do with them or giving them to your nieces and nephews who won't know what to do with them, donate them to the Senior Center's gift shop. That way, you'll help everybody.
That's exactly right.
All right.
If you like bluegrass, we have Bluegrass in the Village.
Picking and grinning.
Coming up next Saturday, June the 7th from 12 until 3 at Waynesboro Park. Let's see, it's a series of monthly jam sessions that will be held there the first Saturday of every month. The jams are sponsored by the North Carolina Bluegrass Association. You can find out more about that if you go to ncbluegrass.org. Let's see, anything else happening? They've got every Saturday, like I said, the first Saturday of the month, they'll have a different group, all sponsored through this one organization, free to the public, Waynesboro Park.
Oh boy. Now tomorrow, before you head out to the Red Cross Community Day at the Red Cross on North George Street, if you have a child who's interested in flying, the Wayne Executive Jetport is offering a chance for a child age 8 to 17 actually get a free airplane ride. Parents or legal guardians must be on hand for this. They've got to be there, but out at the airport in the Pikeville community on the airport road there, between 10 a.m. and 3 tomorrow afternoon, children between the ages of 8 and 17 can fly free of charge. It's sponsored by the Experimental Aviation Association Young Eagles program. And if you have any questions about that, you can call 922-5983, 922-5983.
I think that's a fantastic program.
Isn't it great?
And a great way to spark some interest in young people and potential career paths for them to follow. Great opportunity.
Oh, no question about that. I know when I was a youngster, 8 or 10 years of age, I loved flying.
A lot of young boys and, and young women want to be pilots.
Well,
so that's a great way to have the opportunity. Look at Colonel Levitt.
Yeah, Colonel Levitt out of Seymour Johnson Air Force
That's
Base.
exactly right.
She flies a plane. Boy, did she fly a plane.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But that's a fantastic program.
Yes, it is. All right.
Good job. All right, I believe, Mr. Alley, that may be all for today.
Is that it, Ms. Best?
Yes, it is.
Well, here we go. We're going to go, and we'll be back again Monday. Join us again next week for
more
whatever
of the
this
same.
is. Yeah, whatever this is. Wayne Goldsboro Television. We'll be glad to have you back in here with us, and we'll try to do something again here next week, right?
That's
all
exactly
so
right.
Then,
Keeping you informed.
Keeping you informed. Join us again next week. Until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.